Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, February 19th. We have all you need to know about a professor suing Penn State for disability discrimination, as well as more on Penn State Altoona fraternity members facing charges.
We also have information on the Delta plane crash in Toronto, along with sports, entertainment, weather, and an interview. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Alicia Ernst.
And I'm Grace Eckerle. Penn State is facing a federal disability discrimination lawsuit from the university's first tenured deaf professor. Dr. Joseph Valente claims the university revoked his ASL interpreters in 2021, negatively impacting his ability to teach and conduct research. When Valente pushed back, he says Penn State retaliated by canceling courses, restricting funding, and later placing him on involuntary administrative leave. His attorneys argue that this has harmed his career and further isolated him. The lawsuit is now seeking to restore his accommodations and push for stronger disability protections at the university.
6 members of the Penn State Altoona Sigma Pi fraternity are being charged in connection to the October death of 17-year-old Altoona High student London Treese. Police say the fraternity members supplied alcohol to underage teens, including driver Jared Detweiler, who crashed on the 10th Avenue Expressway, leading to Treese's death. All 6 of the convicted fraternity members received 6 misdemeanor charges each, including furnishing liquor to minors, reckless endangerment, and conspiracy. Sigma Pi and all other Penn State Altoona fraternities are not recognized by Penn State, and the university will pursue internal discipline.
A State College man is being held without bail after police charged him with sexually assaulting a woman in a downtown parking garage. 30-year-old Bruce Edward Miller was arrested February 7th for an alleged assault inside the Beaver Avenue parking garage restroom. Police say the victim escaped after Miller inappropriately touched the victim and exposed himself. Later that day, officers spotted Miller near the garage where he fled on foot before being arrested. Miller now faces multiple charges, including indecent assault, indecent exposure, and evading arrest.
The Centre County Commissioners have voted to allocate the county's final $2 million in American Rescue Plan funds to Center Care, a local nonprofit nursing home. The funding will be delivered in 3 installments to help offset care costs and establish a charitable fund to assist residents who can't afford their care. While this allocation will keep Center Care going for around 2 more years, officials are calling on the community to help provide ongoing support and ensure its long-term survival. What kind of weather can students expect for Thon weekend? Student meteorologist Matthew Howard is live in the studio with this week's forecast. Matthew?
Thanks, Alicia. We're having some pretty cold temperatures right now. We're actually seeing those temperatures in the upper teens, and this is actually well below average for this time of year. But we're going to see a pattern change going into the weekend and into next week, so a lot different condition, but we're under clear skies right now. There are weather headlines today. We have some light snow tomorrow, just some possible snow showers, mainly under 1/2 inch for a lot of the State College area, maybe a little bit more west. We have those temperatures starting to rebound, though, as we get towards the weekend into next week, maybe slightly above average. And it's going to be drier and it's going to be warmer as we get into next week with maybe just some limited rain shower possibilities. Temperatures all around the board right now. We have 19 in State College, cold 12 in Johnstown, 16 out towards Erie. And as we zoom out, still quite cold and even colder as you go out to that upper Midwest where they've been seeing record cold temperatures. Actually, reports of -30 to -40 degrees in just North Dakota. So very cold air working in, but a pattern change is to come. And high temperatures departure to average, even getting towards 40 degrees below average for your highs, especially out in that Midwest area. And taking a look at our current radar and satellite, we don't really see a whole lot. Just some clouds hanging around to the north, but otherwise, quite to the south, we're seeing clear skies in pretty cold conditions. We have a high pressure system dominant, and that will bring a little bit more drier air to the Midwest, as we see over here, though, a coastal system bringing some snow out to the Carolinas and even some rain and some showers and thunderstorms out towards Florida. And taking it to our future radar, tonight we're seeing some pretty quiet conditions with some clouds increasing. Tomorrow, though, we're going to see some snow showers. We'll bring some mainly light accumulation. Cannot rel a dusting, maybe a ½ inch in some spots. But as we get towards the afternoon, you'll still see those continue before moving out overnight. But for your Friday, but even as we get towards Thursday, we're still going to see that snow. And even as we towards Friday, it's a great weekend to go out to support Thon, the largest world philanthropy in the world. Seeing some clouds on Friday, but as we get towards Saturday, we see that clearing working into the region with those temperatures continuing to increase. And as we get towards Sunday, we're still going to be under that southerly fold, those winds coming out of the south, bringing some warmer air, and maybe a possible system on Monday bring in the chance for maybe a rain shower. And looking at our temperatures, going to continue to rebound every single day. We're actually seeing those highs getting up a little bit, 5 degrees every day, and even ending a little bit above average as we get towards Monday. And as we get towards tonight, we're going to see temperatures well below average. Our lows are going to be into the low teens, but those winds are finally going to let down. We're going to see some calm winds, quite a different change as compared to the past couple of days with that windy conditions. For tomorrow, we'll see those winds start to pick up a little bit out of the northwest. Few snow showers possible. Will be quite cold with highs in the low 20s. And here is your 7-day forecast. We are going to see those temperatures start to really rebound with a chance for some snow showers tomorrow. And even getting into the weekend, going to remain dry and a perfect weekend to go out to support the world's largest philanthropy. So it's going to be, those highs are going to get into the 30s. And even as we get towards next week, we're going to see temperatures even getting 5 degrees above average and maybe even 10 degrees above average. So quite a nice weekend and going into next week. Back to you, Alicia.
Thanks, Matthew. Now stick around because after the break, Sophia Monteforte will have the latest in sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Sophia Monteforte with your sports update. As the lacrosse season kicks off for the spring, freshman Hunter Aquino wasted no time to get noticed in the Big Ten. In just 2 games, Aquino tallied in 9 points, putting him at second for total points on the team. In Saturday's match against Princeton, Aquino pulled off 5 points with his first career hat trick, accompanied by 2 assists. His start to the season earned recognition as the Big Ten Conference named him Freshman of the Week. Aquino is starting his career as a Nittany Lion strong and can be a key part to their success. Looking forward, the team will host Navy at Panzer Stadium on Saturday. The Penn State's women's ice hockey team is dominating almost every time they tie up their skates and step on the ice. This past weekend, they closed out the regular season with their 28th win, logging the most wins in a single season that the program has ever seen. Heading into AHA tournament, the team has secured a first-round bye and is sitting at the number 8 spot in the NCAA with their depth on the team and star players like Tessa Janicki breaking male and female records. The team is predicted to have a good postseason run. Penn State's very own Tyler Warren is a spotlight in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. Coming off a record-breaking season, Warren is very attractive to teams that have a top 10 pick in the draft. Right now, the New York Jets are showing interest in Warren because he is a huge threat on both sides of the field. After passing up on the number 1 spot in the tight end draft last year, Brock Bowers, the Jets should be careful to not make the same mistake. Tyler Warren has proven himself to have good hands, agility, defensive strength, and to be an emergency quarterback. Now fans wait to see which team will play their cards right and bring Warren home. The New York Mets are known for their seemingly endless budget when it comes to contract signing. Multi-billionaire franchise owner Steve Cohen is dedicated to putting money on a team, but says things might be a little different this year. After giving Juan Soto the biggest contract in the history of pro sports, Cohen told ESPN that he is encouraging the recruitment team to find young and cheap talent instead of relying on free agency. Cheap to Steve Cohen might not be textbook definition, but he is aware that throwing money on big names in free agency might not be in the best interest of the team. This year, Cohen's goal is to create a team whose success will last longer than just one season. That's all for your sports update. After this break, Kylie Smith has the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kylie Smith with your entertainment update. With Thon weekend just around the corner, here's your Thon prep checklist. First, a reminder that there is no caffeine allowed at the BJC, so these next couple of days should be spent hydrating to avoid caffeine withdrawal. 46 hours is a long time to stand, so make sure you stretch those muscles and wear comfortable shoes. To complete your look, you should have a colorful and fun outfit for this weekend. A high-energy outfit might just give you that extra boost to keep going. A reminder that the BJC has a clear bag policy. Bags can be no larger than 12 by 12 by 6 inches. And finally, the most crucial step, sleep. Thon starts in 2 days, so make sure you are well rested. Now you are ready to join us as we celebrate a Home for Hope. The Hub Robeson Galleries invites people to participate in the Bison Bead Project this Friday. The Bison Bead Project is a series of workshops by New Mexico-based contemporary indigenous artist Canupa Hanska Luger. The workshop will be held from 3 to 6 p.m. in the Noontime Lounge. The project brings attention to the interconnectedness of people's health and well-being, while also honoring communities dedicated to repopulating the American bison. The workshops will be presented in conjunction with Luger's solo exhibition, Reunion, which is now on view in the Hub Robeson Gallery through March 4th. Speaking of events in the Hub, Kennedy Rivers has more on an event hosted by the Paul Robeson Cultural Center and other student organizations. Kennedy?
Thanks, Kylie. Last weekend, I had the opportunity to attend the PRCC Fun Friday event to celebrate Black History Month. Let's check it out.
The Paul Robeson Cultural Center provides a safe place and a community for all cultures to provide and host numerous events throughout the semester.
Programming is very intentional with the goal of building community, especially for multicultural communities here at Penn State. So, for example, Black History Fun Friday, Native American Heritage Month Fun Friday, the POC Pep Rally. We just have this incredible opportunity to do these large-scale programs for community members here at Penn State.
As February's Black History Month, they focused their events on the Black community. This month, they hosted events like the Black Women's Brunch, the Queer and Trans People of Color Fashion Show, and of course, Fun Friday.
I'm Kennedy Rivers with Penn State Network News, and it's Fun Friday where there's food, music, games, a photo booth, and more. The PRCC invites students of all cultures to come celebrate Black History Month with them.
The Paul Robeson Cultural Center has been around since 1972, but has continued to develop and expand within the past few years.
In this location, and so what the Cultural Center meant to us back then, it was a place majorly for African American students on campus. That's where we had all of our parties at, a place to just come, be together, a place for support, just everything, like a home.
Students are able to come hang out at the PRCC and hang out with students who look like them and relate to them. Black History Month is a time for students on campus to unite, and PRCC hosts the perfect events for students to do so. For Penn State Network News, I'm Kennedy Rivers.
The PRCC plans to host a few more events this month, including the Brother, You're on My Mind, this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the Hub. Back to you, Kylie.
Thanks, Kennedy. Tate McRae has announced 23 additional dates in the U.S. and UK to her highly anticipated Miss Possessive tour. Set to kick off next month in South America, McRae's tour now spans 80 dates worldwide. McRae has added shows in Nottingham, London, and Manchester before she wraps up her UK leg in June. Due to overwhelming demand, cities like Boston, LA, New York, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh have even added second and third shows. McRae also added stops in cities like Seattle, Houston, Raleigh, and Palm Springs. Pre-sale for the new shows starts February 25th, and general sale will begin Thursday, February 27th at 11 a.m., local time on Ticketmaster. A$AP Rocky's decision to forego the easy path of accepting the pre-trial offer of 6 months in jail has paid off. Rocky was being charged on 2 counts of felony assault with a semi-automatic handgun from an incident in 2021. Looking at a possible prison sentence of up to 24 years, the 36-year-old rapper was found not guilty yesterday. Rocky was seen leaping into the arms of his partner Rihanna and shouted, "Thank y'all for saving my life," to the jurors following the verdict. A$AP has a busy few months ahead. He's set to headline the Rolling Loud Music Festival next month in LA. He will be celebrity co-chair for the Met Gala in May and star in Spike Lee's film Highest to Lowest, which premieres this summer. That's all for your entertainment update. Coming up next, interview anchor Sophia Miranda will be speaking with Emily Sanchez, the co-executive vice president for the Latina Caucus. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Sofia Miranda, and I'm joined tonight by Emily Sanchez, the co-executive vice president for the Latino Caucus. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Emily. So let's get started right away. How did you become involved with the Latino Caucus?
Thank you for having me. With Latino Caucus, I found out about it my first year here at Penn State. I'm currently a third year. I had to look for my own community when I came to Penn State since I didn't know anything they had to offer. And I started out being a general body member and going to the meetings, and as well as attending the general body meetings for other organizations. And with that, I really liked the people, so I started reaching out and wanting to be part of more, being able to do more for Latino Caucus. So I ran for Vice President of Communications my second year, and I really liked that. So then I continued and moved up to be now co-executive Vice President.
Perfect, that's amazing. How is it being, you talked about being out of state, obviously you're from Tampa, right?
Yeah, Florida.
And how is it being a Latina at Penn State?
Well, the high school I went to in Florida was very PWI. Yeah, I was the minority demographic of that high school, and coming to Penn State, it was the same feeling, and I just wanted to find my community here and make it feel like home since it was the next 4 years that I'm living here for, and I also just wanted to enjoy my time here, and I made it my mission to be able to appreciate my culture more and not let the different cultures stop me from doing that.
Yeah, amazing. Were there any hardships that you can think of that you faced throughout all these 3 years that you have been here?
Definitely. I know I came to Penn State as an engineering major, and that was really hard, especially finding the support for those classes, the weed out classes of first years. And just with the people I met along my first and second year, I was able to find the correct resources to find the major that I like now, completely different field. But it's just the lack of support in those engineering classes. So finding the right people that led me in the right direction, that's what's made me feel more comfortable where I'm at right now.
Amazing. Obviously, for the Latino Caucus, they have multiple events. We just saw Noche Latina. Can you tell me a little bit, how was that?
It was a lot, very stressful, but definitely one of our biggest events that we have. We unfortunately didn't have it last year. But with our great team this year, we were able to put it on. This year's theme was Havana Nights, but based on Cuban culture. And it was really fun, really delicious food. It was different foods from different countries in Latin America too. So, and we had amazing performances too. And it was fun to bring back the event. I know last time we had it was my first year. And being able to be part of it then and now today, or this one, it was really fun. And I'm glad that we were able to put that off.
Amazing. Were there any other events that you were involved in? How did you make into it?
Can you repeat that question?
Were there any other events that you were involved that you can think of that were really good for you?
With Latino Caucus?
Yeah, sure.
I know with Latino Caucus that led me to discover other organizations, like the Colombian American Student Organization. I was also part of that my sophomore and at the beginning of this third year. And I don't think I would have been able to discover that opportunity as well without Latino Caucus.
Now switching a little bit of organizations, you're part of a little bit of Alpha. And how is it being part of that Latino sorority, just like having so many sisters around there?
Well, I know coming from I grew up with sisters, so I knew what it was like to be part of a sisterhood or have a sisterhood of my own. But coming to Penn State, I knew I wanted more, and meeting the undergrad sisters of my sorority, that's what really convinced me to want to look for something else, and it's been very rewarding too. I've had a support system since my second year that I joined, and even before getting to know them, that has been also one of the best connections I've had at Penn State that I would remember.
Okay, perfect. What are your main roles, and what events can you remember that were really good to you, or just like stood out to you?
Right after joining my second semester, I was co-chair for Take Back the Night, which is my it's one of the biggest events that we have in the spring semester, which follows our chapter philanthropy, which is the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and it's just to bring awareness.
You can go for it.
It's to bring awareness to things that happen on campus that are not really talked about, and being able to be co-chair for that event was really special to me, since that's what made me interested in joining my sorority. So just being able to be part of that was very special. And then this year we're also working on it for some time in the beginning of April.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Now stick around, because coming up next, Grace and Alicia will have the latest news from across the nation.
An 86-year-old Kansas City man has just died days after pleading guilty to the 2023 shooting of Ralph Yarl. Last week, Lester pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of one felony count of second-degree assault. Yarl survived being shot twice after the teen mistakenly rang Lester's doorbell when he confused his address while picking up his little siblings. Lester's attorney argued that he acted in self-defense, but prosecutors say his actions had its limits. Andrew Lester was awaiting his sentencing on March 7th. Prosecutors have not revealed how or when he died.
At least 9 people have died in the latest round of harsh weather across the U.S., including 8 in Kentucky as flooding from heavy rain submerged roads and vehicles. Governor Andy Beshear announced that hundreds were rescued from floodwaters, with 1,000 rescues reported so far. President Trump approved a disaster declaration to coordinate federal relief. Around 39,000 homes lost power. Meanwhile, damaging winds and heavy rain continue. The storm system also caused an EF1 tornado in Alabama and a levee failure in Tennessee, leading to evacuations. Severe weather impacts spread from the Midwest to the Northeast, with polar vortex conditions set to bring extreme cold.
Utah's governor has signed a collective bargaining act, one of the most restrictive labor laws in the United States, despite facing strong union opposition. Starting July 1st, public sector unions, including teachers, firefighters, and police, will no longer be able to negotiate wages and working conditions. Thousands have protested and urged Governor Spencer Cox to veto the bill, but he signed it on Friday. Unions are calling this a direct attack on workers, while GOP lawmakers argue it promotes direct employer and employee communication. The Utah Education Association is considering a ballot to overturn it, but Governor Cox also signed a bill that day barring transgender college students from dorms that match their gender identity, making Utah the first state with such a restriction.
A Delta Airlines jet flipped on its roof Monday after landing in Toronto Pearson Airport. The flight, coming from Minneapolis, was carrying 76 passengers and 4 crew members. Despite the forceful landing and snowy conditions, with winds gusting up to 40 miles an hour, all 80 people survived with only minor injuries reported. Emergency responders arrived quickly and passengers evacuated safely. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the incident. Delta CEO Ed Bastian expressed relief no one was killed, while the Transportation Safety Board of Canada leads the inquiry into the accident. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.